Welcome viewers, welcome Trinidad and Tobago to Acts 25, your family station. And we bring you another episode of our Community Corner. And this morning we have three gentlemen here with us. We are going to be talking about one of their first release, book rather, that was released recently. We're going to hear the details about what went into writing the book, the motivation, the inspiration, and the little things that we need to find out when one produces a book. But first of all, let me say again, good morning, and Trinidad and Tobago, and it's a pleasure to be in your company. I would first of all like to welcome Apostle Carlus Hall. He is from the House of Prayer Ministry in El Dorado. Pastor Hall, it's a pleasure and it's my privilege to invite you to the studios of Acts 25.
Yes, and good morning. It's good to be here this morning.
And we have Pastor Jeffrey Jaffa. Again, extend our appreciation of having you here this morning on Acts 25.
Thank you. It's good being here too.
We have Minister Kingsley Benjamin. Good morning, and it's a pleasure.
Morning, sir. Nice being here.
We at Acts 25, we always ask you to relax and enjoy yourself, and we'll be here for the next half an hour discussing your book. Now, Apostle Hall, you are the author of this book, right? And its name of the book is The Prophetic Prayer. This is your first publication, right? First of all, let's start with the motivation and the inspiration that went in to the book. How did it all start? What motivated you? What inspired you to produce this book?
Well, I would first like to say that I had a strong influence in my spiritual life, coming from a woman that knew prayer. That's my spiritual mother, Pastor Agatha Questos. Is a lady that she dwells a lot on prayer. Her whole life is about prayer, and spending time with her, it gives me that foundation to really get involved in prayer. We pray for everything and in everything. And that was a strong motivator. I remember times when things seemed difficult, and whether it was good times or bad times, we would just pray. So coming from that background, it was a really strong force and like a pillar in my life of prayer. That sort of channeled away in praying for me. Apart from that, there were times in my life when I would go through different things, and I always remember that I would resort to praying from the foundation. We would spend lengthy times in prayer. Sometimes I wouldn't want to do it, literally. Sometimes I say, wow, this woman could pray. But she will continue to say, there will be times in your life when you realize the importance of prayer. And because of that strong force, I mentioned it in the book as that you'll literally see like fire in this woman's face because of her discipline. And through prayer, I gathered a lot of discipline too, because I realized that listening, it caused me to learn how to listen to God and to understand how to unlock the spiritual senses, which is so important in this time.
When did you realize, or when did it occur to you that you wanted to write a book? Sometimes we plan things, we say, okay, we're going to do this at this age, or we're going to do this next year or something. But when did you realize that you want to put pen to paper and write a book?
Well, Mr. George, I actually want to be totally honest that I had no idea that God would have done this through my life. But there was one time I remember while I was in prayer that the Lord was speaking to me, and many people come to me after that and will prophesy. They will say, Pastor, you will write this book, you'll write books and so on. And I would just laugh because it was not something that I really had a passion for at that time. And I believe that there are times that God will call people, but it's really who adhere or answer to the call that He really pay attention to, because there are people with skills and ability to do things, but they never find the time. When God's speaking, they won't listen. So, well, it's over these last year, really, and in October, that the early part of October, that when the Lord continued to put it in my spirit over and over, that you need to get the information that you're getting for all these 14 years and get it on paper. You need to sort of pencil information in, because I usually write everything down. Everything down. As long as the Lord inspires me, it goes down on paper. And this helped me to really put things into perspective. And I knew that at that time, that God was getting ready for me to put this book.
Now, I heard you mention October, right? So,
yes.
October 2010, you started to write the book?
Yes.
Now, that is just about 4 months?
I actually wrote the book in 3 weeks.
All right. Now, the reason why I asked you that question is that you hear people write books, and you hear some people take years, some take months, I mean, longer than, I mean, in 3 weeks to compile a book. Take me through the 3-week period, you know, like the time frame, amount of hours per day, you know, you spent in the book, and also tell me of some of the challenges, because in everything in life we face challenges. Tell me of some of the challenges you faced within the 3 weeks that it took you to write this book.
Well, during that time period of those 3 weeks, it was a lot of work, intense work. I mean, there are 3 things I pay attention to when coming to this book. I paid attention to is that first of all, you have to know and be certain it is God, that it is God speaking to you, right? And the next thing is that the season to release is important. You know it's God, but then you wait for the season. And the third thing is that you have to work hard. I mean, a day will be more than 6 to 8 hours. Literally, I remember there are times that in the night I will be up all hours of the night writing. But God gave me the grace, because when you find yourself involved in something that you have a passion for, it comes easy. There's a sort of a joy in doing it.
Is it that when you realize the talent that God has given you, and you birth that talent, everything else flows without any problems?
Yes, it just started to come out.
Because we all have talents,
yes.
right? We just have to wait until we discover the talent, right? And when that talent comes to the front, I mean, there is no stopping us, right? Because you have God as a guide, and life becomes easy.
Yes.
But we know that if that was so, you know.
They had a lot of different challenges at the same time.
That is what I'm coming to.
Because I had to put things in place. I mean, even as a pastor, there are people that I had to counsel regularly. I do have a beautiful wife at home that she's
so you
working.
can't stay up too.
So I have my priorities there,
yeah.
and my 2 children.
Yeah.
And so I have to put things into place. I remember that there are times I have to leave it for a little while and I will go back to it. Because your brain is a muscle, and you can't overdo it with that as well. So there are times I literally have to take a little break and then I'll go back. But what I noticed is that there was a number of things I tend to at the same time. So I keep saying, you know, the next time I probably will go in a place that is out of less people around, more, you know, I can more reserved. And for that, but God allowed me, even within that space, to go into my own zone. He allowed me to just go into this realm by myself. So even though it had a number of activities taking place, meetings, there were seminars, people, because I have a lot of invitation to go places, to even minister, I also say, you know what, I had to put off this, put off that, and get things into place, but the emergency that I had to attend to. But within all that, when I get back into that mode of writing, it was just flowing